Hello everyone, myself is Preity Gupta. I'm an Enterprise AI Security Architect and a Global Advisor, and a TEDx speaker and a best-selling cybersecurity author for a book called Savvy Secure Cloud to secure the digital transformation. I'm also a founder of a SecureWiz, which is a secure first revolution, and I'm a certified independent director and executive board member, wherein I bring the governance insight and understanding for the cyber risk at a board level. I'm a multi-award winning cybersecurity researcher and innovator with a experience of 20 years and across, you can say, AI, cybersecurity and cloud. So the main objective of this webinar is to make you familiar with how this pen testing is a tool for a hacker, and now it can be you can say the decision maker for a boardroom. So we will cover the pen testing strategies, because it's like when we are aware, or you can say the strong security is when we understand how hackers actually work, right? So we will cover up the pen testing strategy, attacker behavior driven defenses, and integrated security approach, which includes our threat modeling, vulnerability assessments, our pen testing and red team exercises, next generation deduction tools like our AI, which accelerate the vulnerability scanning, and the boardroom security awareness, which helps in a daily day-to-day decision making, right? So first we cover the strategic risk aligned pen testing. So we already know that with the evolvement of AI, the attacks are getting faster and getting more smarter, right? So which is hard to notice and more business driven, which can be your AI generated phishing attacks, where the attackers write the mails from the higher authority and can send you and can fake easily and can ask for the ransom, right? Your deep fake videos, your images, your AI generated attack scripts, right? So with these regulatory violations and data breaches and unethical practices causes the lot of financial losses and financial penalties, which hampers the reputation of a company and the trust with the customer, right? So now it's become a board level issue because it is connected with the reputation of a company. So pen testing actually bridges the gap from the technical to the strategic resilience, and by translating the security vulnerabilities into actionable business insights. So before we get to know what the strategies of pen testing is, first of all, let us know what actually the pen testing is. Pen testing is basically, you can say, done by the ethical hackers, and it is a sort of a stimulation for a cyber attack, wherein we identify the organization's weaknesses. It can be from the systems, it can be from the endpoints, it can be from the servers, from networks, from application, right? So we actually stimulate the cyber attack, wherein we find the misconfigurations related to the open ports, in case there is any unpatched systems, if there is any weaknesses in the permissions like your access controls, right? So all those misconfigurations is being you can say identified through the pen testing, and related to the any insecure APIs, any poor input validations related to your access controls, right? And any type of sensitive data storage which is not being properly managed, or you can say it's being publicly accessible, right? So those types of misconfigurations and those types of flaws, pen testing try to find out, right, through the stimulation. So if I talk about my experience, so when in my advisory projects, it's like one of my retail companies, client, right? They already having a strong security policies, firewalls, encryptions, and all the security components in place. But during our routine pen testing, we discovered unprotected development server, which is like most of the developers missed to, you can say, due to their unawareness or negligence, they sometimes unintentionally it is exposed to the internet. So during our routine penetrating testing, we found that it is being exposed to the public, and we immediately isolate it and encrypt the data and create you can say the development environment with a proper governance, so that such type of issues should not come in future, right? So, and it helps to prevent the data breach related to 10 crores or more than that, because it is causing the reputational damage, penalties, and the customer trust loss also, right? So if you talk about the evaluation of pen testing, it's like in the earlier days, it was more like a checklist, right? It's a one-time audit done in an year, right? And the auditor came, they manually check whether your firewalls are in place, whether your other security components are in place or not, and then give you the report, and then it's your responsibility whether you want to remediate it or you don't want to remediate it for an year, right? And then in current modern area, it's like apart from auditing, it's we do the regular identify the gaps, misconfigurations, and weaknesses. Now if we talk about, it's more like a strategic boardroom, you can say component. Pen testing is nowadays try to minimize the gap between the technical security to the business impact it brings, because it gives you the real risk, quantify the financial losses, and prioritize the investment, which you can say if we do on a regular basis, it helps to identify and remediate the vulnerabilities more faster and reduce the average closing time, and also improve our security posture management. Now if we talk about the behavior of attackers, right? If we are doing a pen testing, it is very important to know how actually the attacker thinks, right? So if we talk about the stages of attacker, right? So what they actually looking for, they always keep on you can say try to gather the information, whether it's through the AI tools or whether it's through any other media, in insiders or outsiders. They try to gather the informations, find the weaknesses, and identify the open ports and services, the vulnerabilities, whether it can be at your endpoints, whether it can be your servers, or through any endpoint. Like the way we do the scanning, right, to do the defense, they do the scanning for attacking, right? And they then exploit or penetrate it into our system and become the legitimate user unnoticed, right? So that the people didn't even identify that whether they actually exist into our system or not, because they become the legitimate user. This is their you can say strategy of getting into or penetrating into a system and staying there for a longer period of time, so that they can steal more data and can cause more damages, right? So they once gain all the access as a legitimate user, they keep on expanding their controls, right, and become the root user, and try to stay there unnoticed for a longer period of time, so that they can expand more and then can steal and cause the damages, right? So this is the different stages of attacks which hackers basically go through, what their mindset is, how they actually try to penetrate into systems and try to damage the organizations and companies. And if we talk about the attack vector, so most of the attacks, or you can say most of the attacks, are through the phishing emails, right? Or phishing emails. It can be your any misleading email which can create a panic into you, and you click on those links and can take you to some website wherein it actually expose your server or your endpoint, your laptop, which can bring your organization into stake, right? And you can say around 32% of phishing attack is being notified. And the misconfiguration or exposed servers, like your development servers, or any type of misconfigurations, like if the security is not by design, right? So if you are not designing the security at the very first stage of your building of any your application or your infrastructure, then it is most probably there is a more probability that there will be more configurations, because more components or services you are provisioning, right? There is a chances that your developers do not understand what they actually need to provision, or they keep on doing the same mistakes again and again, which can bring the servers into you can say exposed to the public, right? So therefore it is very important that we give a training to our employees, to our users, so that they do less they do not repeat the same things again and again, right? Then the unpatched vulnerabilities, like there are some cases where these servers or endpoints are not at the area where internet is available, right? So there is no regular patching is there. Means it's not that always the things come from the server side. It can be coming from the endpoint side also, because sometimes hackers there is a lot of security around the servers, but the endpoints are not safe, right? So hackers try to penetrate into system through the endpoints, and through endpoints they try to get into the servers, right? So the patching is very important. So around 20% of the vulnerabilities are due to the unpatched servers or endpoints, right? And then your brute force attacks, like your weak or stolen credentials, are around 18%. And if we talk about the statistics, right, and what defense we can go with, right? So if we talk about the time to deduct, so it's until unless you have a regular or a continuous pen testing and other integrated securities together, it is very difficult to deduct the incidents, right? There are many such situations where if we talk about the NIST itself, that one first and the foremost thing is that we should deduct the things, right? And then only we can remediate, right? So during that deduction time also, it's like until unless there is a proper measures we have followed to do the deduction, it take around 72 hours, and it keep on staying unnoticed for a longer period. More it stay unnoticed, more it can cause harm to the organization. So the remedy for that is that we should have a proper and a regular monitoring, EDRs and SIM in place, so that we have a proper alert system wherein it keeps on giving us the alert, or you can say 0-day alerts, right? Wherein the vulnerabilities keep in the age of AI, this 0-day you can say vulnerabilities are in a very high you can say the rate is very high for that, right? And then time to contain is that how much time it is take to deduct and then to resolve with the number of incidents. That it can be around 7 days, it can be more, right? Because it depending on the company, whether the company is large company, small company, whether they are doing the security from the very beginning, or they have just started, or it depends. The value of time to contain depends on that, right? And for that purpose we should have a automated run books, playbooks, and automated patchings and all those things, so that uh, the deductions is automated, as well as the remediation which can be done automatically. We can prefer to do it automatically where there is no dependency, right? Then if we talk about, we already discussed that the most of the statistics is from the phishing or misconfigurations. So we should give a proper user training, or email control should be there, WAF should be there, right? If you talk about the security from the defense in depth and from the zero trust principle, right? Then the exposure of a dev servers, right, means so that is also very high. So we should maintain a network segmentations, in asset inventory or access control should be maintained, that those servers should not have the customer data into it, right? Only the test data should be there, not the customer data. Then the estimated breach cost can be around 10 crores, or it can be more than that, right? It depends upon the organization. So we should have a regular pen testing and quarterly, or you can say 6 yearly pen testing should be there, depending upon the criticality and the of the application. Now the integrated security approaches, wherein we include our threat modeling, our vulnerability assessments, our pen testing, red team exercises. So if we talk about the threat modeling, it is done before the development, right? During our design phase, using stride or data flow diagrams, wherein we predict that when we are about to create some application or anything, any infrastructure we are setting up, during that design phase, we are analyzing that what other possibilities can be there, which can happen, and keeping those things in mind, we design our or create the architecture, right? And the vulnerability assessment is after the system is being built, and we use the different scanners like our college, or some manual checks or misconfigurations or patches we do, and we it tells us what is wrong, means it identifies the things. And in a pen testing, it is basically, you can say, is done after the vulnerability assessment and before going live, and it will validate the things, and based on the stimulation of the cyber attacks. And in a red team exercises, it's like it is done in a mature environment, right, wherein we you can say stimulate the reality, right? And you can say, in case of a threat modeling, it tells you the design weaknesses. Vulnerability assessment tells you the technical weaknesses. Penetrating testing tell you the actual business impact, right? They will tell you the business risk and all this. And the red teaming exercises basically do the complete stimulation, or you can say the way attackers actually try to get into your system, it from the people and process and the deduction capability form, right? And if we talk about in a broader sense, is threat modeling is a high level, and your vulnerability assessment is your surface level, and penetration testing is deeper, and red team exercise is more deeper and holistic, right? And so we cover the most of the compliances into it. We take care of for different compliances, and based on that we do all the assessments. So it is very important we keep all of them together. We integrate all these testings together, so that our system will be more secure and more you can say hack proof. So the next generation deduction tools, if we talk about, it is our AI generated tools, right? So we can use our your different bug suite, right? For our penetrating testings, we can use our firewalls, AI next generation firewalls, right? And different AI based tools wherein we can do the continuous testing, right? And we can add those during our CI/CD pipeline, and the AI scanners can use or keep on stimulating the attacks automatically, right? So you can say the pen testing is now a day is you can is using our AI tool is a game changer, because it's give you a it gives you a proof of a compliance, whether it's your ISO 27001, right? And other HIPAA or PCI or NIST or anything. So it's basically based on all these compliances, right? So the benefit of using those AI tools is that it is 100x faster, right? More, it's 10 times more faster. It gives you a real-time exposure. It give you the better prioritization with the business context. The main thing which you can say, which we should emphasize on, is that the board, we know already that pen testing is stimulation. We add it in our continuous process. We use the AI tools. Now, why it is being considered more important? That is the main point, right? Because now it gives you the results based on the business impact. So what actually the organizations or companies or boards are more concerned about? They are more concerned about the profits, right? They are more concerned about their reputations. They're more concerned about their revenue, their business impacts, their financial risk, right? So I've seen many of the organizations, you can say, the big organizations. In one of the example, it's like a recent example, you can say it's a telecom company, right? And they get a ransom attack, and they hack their data center and everything, and they ask for the ransom. But the company is a very big global company, telecom company, and they are not ready to give them the ransom. So what as a result, what happened is that it took them around 1 month to resettle their complete data structure, right? Data center. And this caused them a huge financial loss, right? It's like their employees are still on their payrolls, but they don't have anything to work on. Their customers lose faith on a company, right? So these are the things which they are nowadays are coming up in a very you can say drastic way. And it's like people do not actually understand these things until and unless it happens to them, right? So all the big companies, whether it's Facebook, whether it's any big company, you name it, everybody face the cyber attack, right? So therefore it is very important that you do a continuous testing, right? You do a continuous security, and do the security from a design perspective. Means at the design level itself, you should start the security, means create the architecture in such a way which includes the complete defense in depth, whether it's your in all the 7 layers, right? And you do the zero trust architecture, right? Wherein you include security at each and every angle. And penetrating testing is the one, you can say, wherein it helps you to find the vulnerability which can impact, give the business, right? So you can easily understand which can bring more which is more critical, and which can give more suffering to the company, and you can concentrate more on that, right? Which anything which is like exposed to the public, right? It is more critical. So you should always pay or focus on those things, as we have already seen the vectors, which is like the misconfigurations, like your phishing, right? And nowadays it's like deep fake. Means in one of the example, you can say the company, you can say hacker do the deep fake videos, or you can say call their customer or a client, right? And they in a voice of a CEO and ask for the payment, right? And it's like the call is from the CEO and they have to pay it, and they given the account number and everything, and the client has sent that amount to that account. And it's like when later on the client said that he already paid him, but the company said we haven't received it, then only they came to know that it's a deep fake which is happening, right? So therefore it is very important that at each and every stage we do the penetrating testing. So even if it is in a phishing attacks, right? So that also we have to make it automated, that it should be identified, it should be knowledgeable to the employees and everything, so that they should know that these things need to be taken care. So we should say that we can translate the technical data into a decision maker, right? And we should present the heat maps and the risk scores. Like heat maps is like where we present the thing based on the colors, right? So which one is red, which one is green, which one is orange, so that the board members can concentrate more on those things and can pay attention to those. If I talk about the governance point of view, right, from the board level point of view, so when we talk about the board, it's like they do the meetings, right? They talk about profits, they talk about finance, but they ignore the security, right? So so there where we have to pitch in, and will give those types of heat maps which will make them feel, yes, this is the biggest problem which can occur and can cause their business losses, right? Because even if a businesses work so hard and gain so more, but one single incident can damage their whole reputation, can fetch all of their investments whatsoever they have made, right? So it's very important to present all the vulnerabilities, whatever exploitability is there, and give the impact to the business using our this pen testing, right? Then we should provide them the matrices which show them the risk reductions, right? And not just activities, because in one of my project, it's like we were doing the tool rationalization, right? So there, that company is also very big company, a global company, and but when we did the tool rationalization, we came to know that one department is not aware about the another department, right? It's so big company, they have spread out into different geographical locations, right? And the problem is they are already using the security tools, right? But one department is using the same type of security tool, and another department is also using the same type of security tool, right? So it's a you can say company's cost, and none of the tool is using the whole of the functionality of the security tool, right? Means they take the security as, you can say, just for a name sake, or for a checklist, or for that yes, we have it, but nobody knows that what that tool do, or even if they know what the tool does, whether it's using the same overall you can say functionality or not, whether it's having the complete zero trust architecture or not. Means you will see the architecture is always missing in a big organization. So it's very important that we do the security by design in an architecture phase, and here where your pen testing, your threat modeling together basically help us to identify what, based on the compliances, help us identify which can be the possibility of the vulnerabilities which can impact the businesses, right? So therefore it is very important to take the security into consideration from the business point of view, right? So it's technically it's good, but it's like it's nowadays having a huge business impact, right? With the involvement of the AI into picture, right? So if I talk about the penetrating testing, yes, it's you can say a hacker's playground, but today's it's a boardroom necessity, because they are also using the same tools and we are also using the same tools, right? So it's better we find the vulnerability first, then they find it, because they also try to you can say scan our surface areas, and so we should also scan our surface areas using scorecard or any other surface attack tools, right? So that we came to know about the things before hackers came to know about it, right? Then you can say until unless we think like an hacker, we cannot strategize our all the activities, right? Our businesses. So it's very important to think like a hacker so that we can act like a strategist. And our testing should be continuous, including all of them, whether it's a threat modeling, whether it's a vulnerability scanning, whether it's your penetrating testing or your red team exercise. So at each and every stages we should have a continuous testing, right? And using our AI accelerators, AI tools, we can accelerate it in a more better way. So I can say this thing only, that we should start by design, security by design, and we should keep it continuous, and we keep on monitoring have a continuous monitoring using our different tool testing tools, whether it's in a development phase, whether it's in a infrastructure, whether it's in our any of the area, right? So that what we have to do. Okay. So earlier it was like mostly into a manual form, right? Means they have one checklist and they mention that firewall is there, right? Okay, fine, firewall is there. Whether it's whether your storage is publicable, accessible or not, or these type of checklists were there, right? Whether you have your servers in place, or your applications are having access control, having MFA and all those, right? So that is based on the interview, right? You ask them the question, your applications are you can say secure. They said yes, secure. You get you get all the screenshots, or you can say the proof from them that yes, it's you can say secure. But you don't know how many applications an organization have, right? They give you the screenshot of one application, 2 application, 10 applications, but in a bigger organization there are multiple applications, and some of them are inbuilt applications, means your company's applications, and some are SaaS based applications, right? So it's very difficult you to means even if you give all of the report, right? This is missing, it should be there. You give all the you identify everything, you give the remediation steps, right? And then after 1 year they again come and see, means during they have 1 year time span, right? During that 1 year time span, it's up to them whether they want to remediate it, they don't want to remediate it, right? So it's all up to them, right? And it's like and when the second time the person comes, there will be a probability that new applications comes into picture, right? So who will take care of those applications, right? Who will say that the security level of those applications or those infrastructure, the new components which are came into place, are secure or not secure? But now if we talk about the current one, where we talk about the continuous, wherein we continuously check the infrastructure, we continuously check the applications, we check the all the security parameters based on the compliance, right? And how it helpful in a board level is that when we identify the things, right? uh, when we there are multiple, you can say, vulnerabilities, right? When you identify the things, you cannot take all of those to the board, right? Only those which are critical, right, which is basically impacting your system, that only you can take to the board level, right? That you can only present at the board level, right? That if that is not remediated, if this is so critical that if it is not remediated, it can cause a big or huge harm to the organization. That way, if you present the things based on the financial impact, right, to the company, then only you can say that it is the thing is, earlier it is just a checklist, now it is a continuous process, and out of that continuous process you are taking the critical one. If I talk about the uh, budget point of view, right, means uh, when if you look at the suppose you have a big organization, right? You have a big organization which have huge 100 applications, right? And you already have security tools also, which is under your budget, means you are using the trial version of some cloud security posture management, or any of the Azure cloud or AWS cloud or anything, right? It keeps on giving you the many of the vulnerabilities, right? And you keep on remediating it, right? And this process is keep on going, right? Means you are adding the subscriptions, your vulnerability is coming up, and you are keep on remediating, but you are not concentrating on the main root cause, right? That why it is happening, right? What is the reason? That reason you can only came to know when you look into the design, right? If I talk about, means it's like you have construction of a building, right? When you are constructing a building, if you do not have a proper architecture in place, right, you do not have a proper blueprint which tells you at this particular dimension you have to set up this pipeline or this connection, electricity connection or anything like that. Till that time you keep on adding the things, you keep on breaking the things, you keep on adding the things, you keep on breaking the things, and this will cause you more, you can say it will cost you more, right? Because you are not planning the things, right? You are not giving the proper structure to the things, right? So it is very important to start from the design level itself. Even if you are a company is in the middle, right, means it's the continuous process is going on, their continuous transactions are going on, their continuous business is going on, even then you should first of all look for a design. If you don't look for a design, you cannot plan for a better tool, you cannot have a better you can say concentrate on better security within the budget, right? So therefore I always emphasize more on a design part. Means even if your business is running and it's in the middle and there's no architecture, no design, it's better start with the design. Collect the information first from different departments, from different area. First look for the as-is architecture, what's therein, create that architecture, get the confirmation from all the stakeholders that this is the architecture, current architecture, and then make a targeted architecture, right? And in that architecture, pay attention towards the complete compliances, right? So that under the budget, right? Means you are concentrating on each and everything, you are concentrating on all the security, but in a budget, because your things are planned. Because I have seen these things, that there are big organizations, their processes are running, means they are having their managed services in place, right? But their firewall is not in place. Means how that company, you can understand what the level of security that those companies can have, right? Means because they are pay attention to the security, right? Means they are coming up to it, but they are not concentrating more on a design, right? So until and unless you concentrate on design, you cannot manage your budget, right? So it's very important to design the things in such a way that it will be under your budget, instead of directly jumping into buying the tools, directly jumping into keep on adding the security, right? And that is the biggest problem, because you keep on adding the security without giving the, you can say, design into consideration, and that will cause a over budgeting, right? And that is only for the checklist, that I have this security, I have this security, I have this tool, I have this tool, but nothing is working, right? So that is the problem, that cause the over budgeting instead of within budget, right? So that is more important. If you want to stay ahead, then you should start thinking strategically. Because if you concentrate on just tools, right, or that this thing need to be there, you cannot reach anywhere, right? So if you want to rise high, right, then you should start thinking strategically, and you should start looking at the things from the 360 degree angle, right? Until unless you are perfect in that, you cannot assure that your security is 100%. Because it is true that you can be expert in one tool, you can be expert in another tool, you can be expert in third tool, right? But you will be expert in your area only. It will be like you must have heard the story of an elephant, right? There are 4 people on a different directions, and everybody is saying that no, elephant is like a tail, another is saying elephant is like a tongue, right? Another is saying elephant is like a ear, right? So instead of being being the person who only look from one side, start looking from the 360 angle, right? Means from the eagle point of view, right? From the top. Then only you can say whatever tool comes, whatever things comes, you will be at a top always, because you know what is good and what is bad, and how it need to be done, where it need to be done, instead of becoming just means you should be strategically more stronger if you want to be at the top. Look, AI is both, right? Now it depends on you how you want to use. AI have defense also, AI have offense also, right? Now therefore AI governance is very important, ethical AI is important, responsible AI is important, right? Now it's up to you whether you want to be at a defensive side or at an offensive side. Until and unless you understand the offensive side, you cannot do the defensive side, right? But the ethics and the governance, right, it is your part, right? Like you want to be a white collar hacker instead of a blue collar hacker, right? So that is what the thing, right? So AI is both the side, and you should know both the sides, but you should behave, or you should always be at a defensive side, right? Because then only it's like until and unless you know the problem, you cannot find a solution, right? So it's very important to know everything, but find the solution, always be ethical and always be responsible, and find the right solutions which is for the welfare of complete society, right? for the overall organization, for the whole world, for the whole nation, right? Because being into security, it's our responsibility to be very much ethical as well as responsible towards our nation. It's like AI is helpful to us, right? But it's not necessary that it is always 100% accurate, right? Because there can be a data poisoning also, right? So wherein the AI can be exploited, or it can be misused during the time of training also, right? Or it's many of the cases it gives you wrong results if your prompt is not correct, right? Means if you are looking for something and your prompt or the description or the question which you have asked is not accurate, they will not give you the accurate result. So you should be means it's a manual checking is always required. Means you should be strategically very much efficient, which can you can say find that this is right or this is wrong, right? Therefore manual intervention is required even if we are using the AI, right? It's important that we manage the we automate the things, we manage the alerts, but when we automating the things, then also this designing part is very important, because when we are automating it, apply your mind, right? Apply that. Therefore I am saying the training of the developers are very important. Developers should start thinking strategically instead of just completing a task. Means their task is not to do development only, right? Their task is to think from the beginning till end, right? Then only whatsoever result AI is present, because AI can give you false positive also, right? Now it's up to you to decide whether the result which they are giving you is false positive or correct. You have to identify it, and then based on that you have to make the changes into the code, right? To so that same false positive don't come again, right? So it's therefore the human is required, right? Because AI is created by human, and human is always supermost, or you can say always higher than AI, and they should always need to verify the things before getting into the real world. I'd like to say that breaches are the causes of some blind spots, right? And blind spots are the advantage for the leadership. So if we do the proper security using the pen testing and all those, then the boards you can say give more better decisions and have a more better security for an organization.